Hello, my precious and wonderful viewer. Welcome to PrimeLearn website, where learning has been simplified just for you. My name is Teacher Nakafero Betty. In this video lesson, I'm going to handle English language of Primary 6. The topic is occupations and the subtopic is tailoring. This is our lesson video number 110, and it's about changing sentences from indirect speech to direct speech in the present perfect tense. However, before we go any further, my precious viewer, let's remind ourselves of what we learned in lesson video number 109. In that lesson video, we learned how to change sentences from direct speech to indirect speech in the present perfect tense. And I emphasized that the present perfect tense is reported in the past perfect tense. Another emphasis I also made was helping verbs has and have. For them, they change to had as we are reporting. Let's get this clearly using the examples I have brought for you. The first example is already on your screen. The thieves have stolen the tailor's sewing machine. The man said, we are going to report after carrying out some changes. Therefore, we are going to change have to had. And we can be able to report by saying, the man said that the thieves had stolen the tailor's sewing machine. The man said that the thieves had stolen the tailor's sewing machine. Another sentence I can give you says, I have cut my finger, the tailor said. I have cut my finger. Those are the actual words of the speaker. That's why they have been enclosed in the quotation marks. The I have cut my finger, the tailor said. Before we change this sentence to reported speech, the one you can call indirect speech, first and foremost, let's carry out some changes. For instance, we change I to he, then we change have to had, then we can also change my to his, and thereafter we can report by saying, the tailor said that he had cut his finger. The tailor said that he had cut his finger. In this video lesson, my precious viewer, we are going to describe direct and indirect speech. Thereafter, we shall change sentences from indirect speech to direct speech in the present perfect tense. Finally, construct meaningful direct speech sentences in the present perfect tense. Let's get started, my precious viewer. When I talk about direct speech, it's the report of the exact words used by the speaker or the writer. Note clearly that the actual words of the speaker are enclosed in the quotation marks. My precious viewer, however, when I talk about indirect speech, the one you can also call reported speech, this is the speech we use to report what someone said without using quotation marks. Another thing you need to note clearly is that in this speech, we only use a full stop as a punctuation mark. My precious viewer, note clearly that in this speech, we introduce the joining word that as we are reporting. Let's get this clearly using the examples I have brought for you. Remember, we are going to be changing sentences from indirect speech to direct speech in the present perfect tense. Let's get started by looking at the first example, which says, she said that she had sewn her dress very well. She said that she had sewn her dress very well. We are going to change this sentence to direct speech. But before doing that, we need to carry out some changes. For example, we have to change she to I. Then, after changing she to I, we're going to change had to have. Then we shall change my to your. I believe you are following me. I repeat the question. The question says, she said that she had sewn her dress very well. That is the sentence we are going to change to direct speech. Let's begin by putting the open quotation marks as you can see them on your screen. They are going to be followed by the actual words of the speaker, which are, I have sewn your dress very well. I have sewn your dress very well. Thereafter, I'm going to put a comma. After the comma, I'm going to leave some space before writing my cross quotation marks. And finally, I end with the speech tag which says, she said. Note clearly, she should begin with a small s. Let's go on and look at another example which says, the children said that they had lost his pair of scissors. The children said that they had lost his pair of scissors. My precious viewer, that's the sentence we are going to change to reported speech, the one you can also call indirect speech. But before we do so, let's first carry out some changes. For instance, we change they to we. Then we change had to have. Thereafter, we shall change his to your. And then we can be able to construct a very correct sentence in the direct speech. This time we have begun with the speech tag. The children said, there is a comma there. Then we put the open quotation marks. We have lost your pair of scissors. The children said, comma, put open quotation marks. We have lost your pair of scissors. Thereafter, we can put a full stop. I repeat the answer. The answer is, the children said, we have put a comma. After the comma, we have put our open quotation marks. Then we are going to write the actual words of the speaker, beginning with a capital letter, and we say, we have lost your pair of scissors. There we put a full stop, and after full stop, we put our close quotation marks. Let's go on and we look at the third example, which says, the lady said that she had kept her bobbins safely that day. The lady said that she had kept her bobbins safely that day. That is the sentence we are going to change to direct speech. However, before doing that, let's make some changes. For instance, we are going to change she to I. We change had to have, then her, we change it to my. Then that day will be changed to today. And thereafter we can be able to write our sentence, and we say, we begin by writing our open quotation marks. Then we write the actual words of the speaker, which are, I have kept my bobbins safely today. I have kept my bobbins safely today. Those are the actual words of the speaker. After writing them, let's put a comma, and thereafter we put the cross quotation marks. Finally, we end with the speech tag which says, the lady said. The lady said. The should begin with small t, and we end with a full stop, as you can see on your screen. Let's look at the fourth example. The fourth example, my precious viewer, is already on your screen and says, Ruth said that she had knitted that sweater that day. Ruth said that she had knitted that sweater that day. That is our sentence we have in the indirect speech. And we have to change it to direct speech. First and foremost, we are going to change she to I, had to have, that to this, that day to today. Then we can be able to begin with the speech tag, and we say, Ruth said, a comma is there as you can see. Leave some space and put the open quotation marks up there, as you can see on your screen. Then we write the actual words of the speaker, beginning with a capital letter, and we say, I have knitted that sweater today. I have knitted that sweater today. After writing those actual words of the speaker, I'm going to put a full stop. I leave some space, then I put my close quotation marks. The next example says, Tom said that the needle had pierced him. Tom said that the needle had pierced him. We are going to change this sentence to direct speech. However, some changes should be carried out, like had should be changed to has. Then we also have to change him to me, and thereafter we can say, Tom said, comma, put the open quotation marks, the needle has pierced me. The needle has pierced me. And with a full stop, leave some space slightly up there, put your close quotation marks. Let's look at the next example, my precious viewer. And it says, Jolie said that she had learned how to make buttonholes that day. Jolie said that she had learned how to make buttonholes that day. That is the sentence we have in the indirect speech, which we should change to direct speech, my precious viewer. First and foremost, we have to change she to I, had to have, then that day to today. We can be able to begin with the actual words of the speaker. First and foremost, we need to put the open quotation marks as you can see them on your screen. Then we write the actual words of the speaker beginning with capital letter, a capital letter. And we shall say that, I have learned how to make buttonholes today. I have learned how to make buttonholes today. What is following that? I'm going to put a comma. Leave some space. I up there slightly. I put my cross quotation marks. Then I end with a speech tag which says, Jolie said. And I put a full stop. You've been such an amazing viewer. And I believe at this time you can ably change sentences from indirect speech to direct speech in the present perfect tense. Remember, we can also construct our own direct speech sentences. For instance, I can say, open quotation marks. The actual words are, I have hemmed this shirt myself. I have hemmed this shirt myself. Put a comma, put cross quotation marks, Jacobo said. Another sentence you have on your screen says, the tailor has punched my torn pair of shorts. The tailor has punched my torn pair of shorts. My precious viewer, those are the actual words of the speaker. Those are the actual words of the speaker that must be enclosed in the quotation marks as you can see. And who spoke such? He said. I can repeat my sentence. It has been, the tailor has punched my torn pair of shorts. There is a comma there before I put my cross quotation marks. He said. Another sentence is also there and says, put the open quotation marks as you can see, my precious viewer. She has designed my bridal gown very well. Then I put my comma. Slightly up there I put my cross quotation marks. Who spoke such words? The bride said. You are such an amazing viewer. In this video lesson, we've been able to describe direct speech. And I have said direct speech is the report of the exact words of the speaker. And these exact words of the speaker are enclosed in the quotation marks. We've also been able to describe indirect speech. And I've said that indirect speech is the speech we use to report what someone said without using quotation marks. Don't forget, my precious viewer, that we've also been able to change sentences from indirect speech to direct speech. Among the many sentences we have changed, let me remind you a few. Ruth said that she had knitted that sweater that day. The answer we have given here has been, Ruth said, there was a comma. Then put open quotation marks. I have knitted this sweater today. We put a full stop and we ended with a cross quotation marks. Another sentence I can remind you of has been, Tom said that the needle had pierced him. The answer we have given here has been, Tom said, comma, open quotation marks, the needle has pierced me. Then put a full stop and we end with the crossing and we end with the cross quotation marks. We've not stopped there, my precious viewer. We have also been able to construct our own direct speech sentences in the present perfect tense. For instance, we had a sentence like, she has designed my bridal dress very well. Those were the actual words of the speaker because you can see them enclosed in the quotation marks. The bride said, and very many other sentences as you have seen them in this lesson. I can't live without giving you a lesson exercise. Therefore, I kindly request you to scroll down, tap on that blue button below the video lesson you have just watched. Then you will be able to access the lesson exercise I have organized for you. I remain Teacher Nakafero Betty, who has been teaching you English language of Primary 6. Let's meet next time. Bye-bye.